time now to sample BMW's newest release, the long-awaited follow-up to one of its most popular motorcycles, a bike known by enthusiasts simply as the GS. It's been 25 years since BMW first introduced its version of a dual-purpose adventure bike, and now, after many years of design evolution, BMW has launched what it believes to be its best dual-purpose on-off-road machine ever, the R1200Gs. This GS certainly differs considerably from the previous 1150 model. For one thing, it's dramatically narrower and lighter. Its weight has been reduced by a whopping 12%. In the engine department, horsepower output has been increased by 15%, thanks to the 40cc bump in displacement and what BMW calls its new K-engine management system. And BMW says the all-new fuel-injected dual-plug motor is smoother too, thanks to the addition of a counterbalancer. So how does the new package all work? Well, this week we invited a longtime owner and lover of a 30-year-old BMW twin, Dennis Rutter, to sample the R1200GS. We were curious to know if a thoroughly modern GS could be good enough to make Dennis give up his current ride, a bike that's been his passion for over 2 decades.
Well, Dennis, I know that you have a 34-year-old BMW, and I know you're a fan of the product, but I really wanted you to try something modern, and it doesn't get any more modern than this. This is brand new GS. What were your first impressions?
Well, cosmetically, it's just such a drastic change from my motorcycle, but technically, it's just a marvel. It works so well. Everything functions just incredibly well. Power, it's almost beyond belief for a boxer to feel that kind of a power coming out of a twin, and very usable power too, which is very nice. And the fit and finish, of course, are just incredible because it is BMW.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that power plant. It's a brand new, redesigned 1200cc boxer, fuel injected, catalytic converter. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Right.
What did you think?
Well, I guess this year it was stroked a little more. It's the same bore, but 13 more horsepower than last year's motorcycle. But I think it's just short of 100 horsepower and very, very usable power. I found myself going down the highway at 4th gear, actually a little over highway speed, and just realizing there's still 2 more gears to go. And even at 4th gear, and you could use 5th and 6th whenever you wished, and to have a little extra power for passing or playing with, it was definitely there at all times.
What about the transmission, the shifting, clutch engagement?
With a twin, as with my motorcycle, I have to be smooth on the clutch and the accelerator. But after logging a few miles with a motorcycle, it just falls right into place and feels very, very comfortable.
Brakes, we've got the modern brakes now, and ABS brakes.
Phenomenal system with the servo assist and 12-inch discs up front and 4-piston calipers. 2 fingers on the front brake lever. Hardly had to touch the rear brakes at all, other than some gravel situations on corners where you have to be careful. But it's just phenomenal. And the front end system on this, no dive at all.
Yeah, that's kind of neat, eh?
Oh, it's just marvelous.
Now, what about the suspension? This bike is set up obviously for adventure touring. It's got a lot of suspension travel, and it's also designed to take some luggage and take some weight. So how did you find it handling?
Where it was set up, it was absolutely wonderful. Very plush on the highway, absorbed the little bumps just the way you want them to, and it just felt very, very comfortable at all times.
What did you think of the cockpit layout, the wind protection, the mirrors?
I really like the classic gauges on the motorcycle. I loved the fact that there's a needle there on both the tach and the speedometer. When you're riding down the road, they're very, very visible. Just a slight drop of your eye and everything is just right there where you want it to be. And so you can focus, of course, where you have your focus where it should be too. So.
Who would you recommend this bike to?
Somebody who wants to do some adventure touring. Somebody who just wants to have an all-around, very, very versatile motorcycle would suit the key.
Anything disappoint you about the bike?
I really can't say as there is. I would like to see this motorcycle possibly and maybe a slightly larger or smaller scale, maybe 2 inches less saddle height from my inseam position.
Yeah.
But other than that, it worked flawlessly. It was just a joy to ride.
Well, I'm glad you had fun, and thank you very much for coming out and joining us today.
Thank you.
Great job, Dennis.